The massive alien ship floated above Earth like a dark metal mountain. Inside the command center, Commander Vexthal stared at the glowing screens that showed him everything about the small blue planet below. "Tell me about their weapons," he said to his officer. The tall, gray alien touched the control panel. Images appeared in the air: missiles, tanks, fighter jets, and submarines. "They have nuclear bombs that can destroy entire cities. They have poisonous gas that kills everything it touches. They have weapons that shoot metal so fast it can punch through mountains." Vexthal nodded slowly. His race, the Zephyrians, had conquered 47 planets in the last century. They always studied their enemies first. Knowledge meant easy victory. "What about their soldiers?" he asked. More images appeared. Human soldiers in different uniforms from different countries. Men and women carrying rifles, driving tanks, flying aircraft. "They fight each other constantly," the officer reported. "Wars happen every few years. They seem to enjoy killing." "Good," Vexthal said. "Fear makes conquest easier." But as he watched the screens, something bothered him. The humans looked different from other species they had conquered. Their eyes held something he could not name. Down on Earth, in a military base in South Korea, Colonel Minho Park was having his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. He ran to the control room where Lieutenant Jisoo Kim was staring at radar screens with wide eyes. "Sir, you need to see this," Jisoo said, pointing at the screen. "Something huge just appeared in orbit. It is not one of ours." Minho looked at the radar display. A massive object hung in space above their planet. It was bigger than any city he had ever seen. "Contact all bases worldwide. Find out if anyone knows what this is." Within minutes, reports came flooding in. The same enormous ship was visible from everywhere on Earth. It cast shadows over entire countries. Jisoo's radio crackled with voices from military bases around the world. Beijing reports the same object. Moscow confirms visual contact. Washington, D.C. has eyes on target. Then the ship began to broadcast on every radio and television channel at once. Back on the alien ship, Vexthal spoke into his communication device. His words were translated into every human language at the same time. "People of Earth, we are the Zephyrian Collective. We have studied your world and your weapons. You have impressive technology for such a young species. Nuclear weapons, chemical warfare, advanced aircraft. We respect your ability to destroy." In the Korean base, everyone gathered around the radio to listen. Minho felt his hands shake slightly as the alien voice continued. "However, you must understand that our technology is thousands of years ahead of yours. We have shields that can stop your strongest weapons. We have energy beams that can cut through your armor like paper. We have conquered worlds with civilizations far older than yours." Lieutenant Soare Lee, the base communications officer, looked at Minho with fear in her eyes. "Sir, what do we do?" Minho held up his hand for silence as the broadcast continued. "We do not wish to destroy your species," the alien voice said. "You will surrender your weapons and accept our leadership. You will provide us with your resources and labor. In return, we will allow your civilization to continue under our guidance. You have 24 hours to respond." The broadcast ended. The command room fell silent except for the hum of computers and the distant sound of fighter jets scrambling overhead. Vexthal turned to his tactical officer. "What is their most likely response?" "Based on our studies of similar species, they will attempt to negotiate first. When they realize we are serious, fear will take over. Most species surrender within 3 days of first contact. And if they do not surrender? Then we demonstrate our power with limited strikes. After they see our capabilities, resistance becomes impossible. Fear is the most powerful weapon in the galaxy, Commander." But Vexthal was watching the planet on his screens. Instead of the panic he expected to see, something else was happening. Military bases were not shutting down, they were becoming more active. Civilian populations were not running in terror, they were gathering in groups, talking, planning. "Sir," his intelligence officer said, "we are detecting massive increases in communication traffic between their military installations. They appear to be organizing." Vexthal frowned. "Show me their leadership responses." The screens displayed government buildings around Earth. In each one, humans in military uniforms and business suits were having intense meetings. But their body language was wrong. Instead of the defeated posture of a conquered species, they stood straight. Their voices were loud and angry. In Seoul, Minho was on a video call with military commanders from around the world. The American general spoke first. "We will not surrender our planet to invaders." The Russian commander agreed. "Our ancestors did not fight for centuries to build our nations just to give them away. The Chinese admiral nodded. We may have different flags, but we are all human. Today we stand together. Minho looked at each face on the screen. These people were not afraid. They were angry. Then it is decided. We fight. As the meeting ended, Minho walked to the window and looked up at the alien ship hanging in the sky like a dark star. His radio operator Yijin Choi approached him quietly. Sir, what are our chances? Minho was quiet for a long moment. I do not know if we can win, Yijin. But I know we will not surrender. That is what makes us human. High above, Vexthal was beginning to realize that his intelligence reports might have missed something important about this species. He had catalogued their weapons and counted their armies. But he had not measured their will. The assessment was complete. The invasion would begin tomorrow. Neither side yet understood that they were about to learn something new about the nature of war itself. The alien attack began at sunrise. Vexthal watched from his command center as bright blue energy beams shot down from his ship toward Earth. The beams were designed to destroy military targets without killing too many humans. A quick show of power, then surrender. The first beam hit Ozan Air Base in South Korea. The energy cut through the runway like a hot knife through butter. Fighter jets exploded in perfect lines. The control tower melted into liquid metal. Target destroyed, Commander, his weapons officer reported. No human resistance detected. But the report was wrong. Captain Junho Lee had been in the underground bunker when the beam hit. Half his squadron was gone, turned to ash in seconds. His communications officer, Sergeant Dehee Park, was bleeding from a cut on her forehead, but she was still working at her radio. Sir, we have survivors in bunkers 3 and 7, she reported. What are your orders? Junho looked around at his remaining pilots. 24 hours ago they had been the best fighter squadron in Korea. Now only 8 of them were left alive. Their planes were destroyed. Their base was a smoking crater. Any reasonable military commander would surrender. Get me every working vehicle on this base, Junho said instead. Trucks, jeeps, anything that moves. Sir, what is the plan? Junho smiled grimly. If we cannot fly, we drive. Load every missile we can find onto those trucks. We are going hunting. Above them, Vexthal was moving to his next target. His energy beams struck military bases in Japan, Australia, and Germany. Each attack was perfect. Each target was completely destroyed. Excellent work, he told his crew. At this rate, they will surrender before noon. But something strange was happening on his sensors. Instead of military communications going silent, they were getting louder. Human bases that had not been attacked were not shutting down. They were becoming more active. In Seoul, Colonel Minho Park was in his command bunker, talking to survivors around the world. The aliens had destroyed 30 major military bases in the first hour. It should have been a crushing defeat. Instead, Lieutenant Jisoo Kim was coordinating with more human forces than ever before. Sir, we have contact with resistance groups forming in every attacked zone, she reported. Also, civilian volunteers are joining military units without orders. Minho looked at his tactical display. Red dots showed destroyed bases, but green dots showed active resistance groups. There were 3 times as many green dots as there had been military bases before the attack. The aliens made a mistake, he realized. They destroyed our bases, but they did not kill our will to fight. At the ruins of Ozan Air Base, Junho's improvised convoy was moving through the Korean countryside. 3 pickup trucks loaded with missiles, 2 military jeeps, and an old farm tractor that somehow still worked. It was not much of a military force. But it was moving toward the alien landing zone that had appeared near Taegu. Captain, Dehee said from the passenger seat, our missiles are designed for aircraft. They might not work against alien shields. Then we will get close enough that shields do not matter, Junho replied. They were not the only ones with this idea. Around the world, survivors from destroyed bases were doing impossible things. In Nevada, American pilots were using civilian helicopters to attack alien positions. In Russia, tank crews whose bases had been destroyed were driving stolen construction equipment loaded with explosives. In Australia, Navy personnel were mounting ship weapons on railroad cars. None of it should have worked against advanced alien technology. But it did. Vexthal watched his tactical display with growing confusion. Report, he demanded. Sir, we are taking casualties, his tactical officer said reluctantly. Ground teams report constant harassment by small human groups. They are using primitive weapons in unexpected ways. On the main screen, Vexthal saw footage from the surface. A human driving a gasoline truck had crashed it into an alien walker, creating a massive explosion. Both were destroyed, but the human had been smiling as he drove toward death. Analysis of human behavior? Vexthal asked. They are not responding to our show of force as predicted, his intelligence officer reported. Instead of becoming more afraid, they appear to be becoming more angry. At that moment, Junho's convoy reached the alien landing zone near Tegu. The area looked like something from another world. Strange metal buildings had grown from the ground like silver trees. Alien vehicles moved between them on legs instead of wheels. There, Junho pointed to a large structure in the center. That looks important. Dahi checked her equipment. Missiles are ready. But Captain, this is a suicide mission. We cannot escape after we attack. Junho looked at his team. 7 other faces looked back at him. All young. All scared. All determined. Any of you want to surrender? He asked. Nobody spoke. Then we go in fast and loud. For Earth. For humanity. The trucks roared toward the alien base. Missiles launched from their improvised platforms. Explosions lit up the morning sky. When the smoke cleared, both human vehicles and alien structures were destroyed. But across the world, 100 other groups like Junho's were forming. The aliens had won the first battle by destroying human military bases. They had also created something they had never seen before, an entire species that refused to accept defeat. Vexthal stared at his damage reports. How many humans are we fighting? Unknown, Commander. The number keeps growing. 6 months had passed since the aliens first attacked. Commander Vexthal stood in his command center, looking at reports that made no sense. According to every military textbook in the galaxy, this war should have ended long ago. Status report, he ordered. His tactical officer, looking tired despite being an alien who rarely needed sleep, pulled up the data. We control all major cities and transportation networks. We have orbital superiority. Human military resistance should be impossible. Yet we lose an average of 12 ground units per day to guerrilla attacks. Our supply convoys require heavy escort. And somehow human resistance is growing stronger, not weaker. Deep underground in what used to be Seoul, Sergeant Taemin Kim led a group of 23 fighters through maintenance tunnels that snaked beneath the city. His team included Hai-sun Choi, a former school teacher who now made explosives from household chemicals, and Kyung-ho Park, a teenager who had learned to hack alien communication systems using stolen equipment. Next target is the supply depot on 5th Street, Taemin whispered to his group. Same plan as always. Fast in, fast out. Take what we can, destroy what we cannot carry. Young-mi Lee, who had been a doctor before the invasion, checked her medical supplies. Taemin, we are running low on medicine. And food. We have been running low for 4 months, Taemin replied. But we are still here. The aliens have food and medicine. We just need to convince them to share. Above ground, Zephyrian patrols moved through empty streets. The aliens had expected to see humans working, rebuilding under their guidance. Instead, the cities felt like ghost towns. Humans appeared only to attack, then vanished like smoke. Lieutenant Commander Kael'tar, leading his 4th patrol of the week, spoke into his communication device. Sector 7 clear. No human activity detected. The words had barely left his mouth when an explosion rocked his vehicle. Homemade mines, built from alien power cells and human scrap metal, disabled 2 of his walkers. Human fighters appeared from sewers and abandoned buildings, firing improvised weapons before disappearing again. Contact! Contact! Kael'tar shouted. Humans attacking from multiple positions. But by the time reinforcements arrived, the humans were gone. Only damaged alien equipment and empty streets remained. In the underground tunnels, Taemin's team was already moving to their next hiding spot. They carried alien supplies and weapons taken from the attack. Everything was shared among the resistance cells. How do they keep finding us? Kyung-ho asked as they moved through the darkness. They do not find us, Hai-sun answered. We find them. This is our home. They are visitors. What puzzled the aliens most was the complete lack of collaboration. On every other world they had conquered, some members of the local population had helped them in exchange for better treatment. On Earth, not a single human had offered to work with them. Vexthal received daily reports that frustrated him more. No human collaborators have been identified, his intelligence officer reported. Even children throw rocks at our patrols before running away. What about their leaders? Surely some of them see the logic of cooperation? Sir, we captured several human government officials last month. Instead of negotiating, they used their knowledge of our security procedures to help plan escape attempts. All of them chose torture over cooperation. In a hidden bunker beneath Busan, Colonel Minho Park was meeting with resistance leaders from around the world via a communication network built from scavenged alien and human technology. The screen showed faces from underground hideouts in Tokyo, Sydney, London, and New York. Food situation? He asked. Critical in most areas, replied the leader from Australia. But civilians are sharing what they have. Nobody is starving yet. Ammunition. We are making more than we use, reported the American commander. Your boy Kyung-ho's instructions for converting alien power cells are working perfectly. Minho smiled. The teenager's discoveries had spread through the global resistance network within weeks. Humans were not just surviving, they were learning to turn alien technology against its creators. Any word from the alien leadership? They are requesting additional troops from their home worlds, the British commander said. According to intercepted communications, they expected this war to last 3 days. They are now planning for 3 more years. What the aliens could not understand was that humans were not fighting to win in any traditional sense. They were fighting to remain human. Every day they did not surrender was a victory. In his command center, Vexthal was reviewing casualty reports when his communication officer approached nervously. Commander, we have received a message from the Collective Council. Display it. The holographic image of High Council leader Zepthor appeared. Commander Vexthal, your progress reports are concerning. Explain why a primitive species is causing such difficulties. Vexthal chose his words carefully. The humans fight unlike any species we have encountered. They treat defeat as temporary inconvenience. They learn from every engagement. They share knowledge instantly across their entire population. Are you saying they cannot be conquered? I am saying they have not been conquered yet. And after 6 months, I am beginning to doubt they can be conquered using conventional methods. Zepthor's expression grew cold. You have unlimited resources, Commander. Use them. The transmission ended. Vexthal turned to his officers. Double our ground forces. Triple our patrols. I want constant pressure on human positions. But in the tunnels beneath Seoul, Taemin was teaching new recruits how to make weapons from alien scrap metal. Every attack brought more people to the resistance. Every alien victory created more human fighters. The long war continued. And somehow, impossibly, the humans were winning it. The rain was falling hard on the ruins of Incheon when Sergeant Boare Kim spotted the alien transport ship. It had landed in what used to be the city park, probably to pick up supplies from the nearby Zephyrian base. Only 2 guards, she whispered to her team leader, Corporal Sung-ho Lee. The ship looks damaged. Maybe we can take it. Their resistance cell had been watching alien movements for weeks, looking for the right opportunity. This transport was smaller than usual and it was alone. Boare counted only 6 aliens moving around it. It is too risky, Sung-ho said. We are only 12 people. But Private Min-suk Park, the youngest member of their group, pointed to something interesting. Look at the markings on the ship. Those are command symbols. If we capture it, we might get important prisoners. Boare smiled. At 19, Min-suk was smart enough to read alien writing that even their best translators struggled with. What do you think, Sung-ho? Fortune favors the bold. Sung-ho looked at his team. They were tired, hungry, and outnumbered. But they had been tired and outnumbered for 8 months now. It had not stopped them yet. Fast attack. In and out. If it goes wrong, we run. The assault began at sunset. Human fighters appeared from 3 directions at once, using homemade weapons and captured alien guns. The Zephyrian guards were caught completely off guard. Within 10 minutes, the transport ship was in human hands. But they had captured more than just a ship. Subcommander Krelvoth of the Zephyrian Collective woke up in a human underground bunker with a bandage around his head. The last thing he remembered was his transport being attacked by primitive fighters who should not have been able to threaten his advanced shields. He expected to be tortured or killed immediately. Instead, a human female was cleaning a wound on his arm with careful hands. Do not move too much, said Dr. So-young Kim, who had been a military medic before the invasion. You have a concussion. Krelvoth stared at her in confusion. Why are you helping me? Because you are injured, she replied simply. That is what doctors do. Over the following days, Krelvoth found himself in increasingly strange conversations with his captors. The human leader, Captain Jae-won Park, would sit with him for hours, asking questions that made no sense from a military perspective. Why do you fight when you cannot win? Krelvoth asked during one of these talks. Our technology is superior. Our numbers are greater. Logic demands your surrender. Jae-won thought for a moment before answering. Tell me about your home world, Krelvoth. Do you have children there? I have offspring, yes. 2 young ones. When they are old enough, will you teach them to bow to anyone who has bigger weapons? Krelvoth was quiet for a long time. That is different. They are my offspring. All humans are our offspring, J1 said quietly. Every child on this planet is someone's daughter or son. We fight so they will never have to bow. Meanwhile, in the same bunker, engineer Eugene Lee was working on the captured alien transport with a team of technicians. For months, human fighters had been trying to understand alien technology by taking apart broken pieces. Now they had an entire working ship. The power system is incredible, Eugene told his team. It generates more energy in 1 hour than our old nuclear plants made in a year. Min-suk, who had proven gifted at understanding alien systems, was connecting human computer equipment to the alien navigation system. I think I can make our radios talk to their communication network. That would change everything, said technician Heijin Choi. We could listen to all their messages. But the real breakthrough came when Eugene figured out how to combine human materials with alien power sources. The aliens built everything to last forever, using materials that never broke. Humans built things quickly and cheaply, using whatever was available. What if we stopped trying to copy their designs? Eugene suggested. What if we use their power to make our designs work better? The first hybrid weapon was a simple rocket launcher that used alien energy cells instead of human explosives. It could punch through alien armor like paper, and it could be built in any garage using spare parts. Within a week, every resistance cell in Korea had instructions for building the new weapons. Within a month, the designs had spread across the globe through the human communication network. Commander Vexthal noticed the change immediately. Our casualties have tripled in the past 2 weeks, his tactical officer reported. Human weapons are becoming significantly more effective. How is this possible? We control all major manufacturing facilities. They appear to be building weapons in small groups, using improvised materials. Intelligence suggests they have captured some of our technology and learned to modify it. Vexthal studied the reports with growing alarm. The humans were not just adapting, they were innovating. Every week brought new surprises. Alien vehicles disabled by human minds built from scavenged alien parts. Communication networks hacked by human teenagers who barely understood the technology they were manipulating. Back in the bunker, Krelvoth was having his final conversation with J1 before a prisoner exchange. I still do not understand, the alien said. You could have killed me. Instead, you feed me and heal my wounds. Yet you will not surrender even when facing certain defeat. J1 smiled. That is exactly why we cannot surrender, my friend. The moment we stop caring for our enemies, we stop being human. And being human is worth any price. As Krelvoth was released, he carried something back to his commanders that no intelligence report could contain. The knowledge that humans fought not from hatred but from love. The war was about to change in ways neither side could predict. 2 years after the invasion began, High Counselor Zepthor arrived at Commander Vexthal's flagship for an emergency meeting. The holographic reports floating between them told a story that defied everything the Zephyrian collective thought they knew about conquest. Explain these numbers, Zepthor demanded, pointing at casualty figures that climbed steadily upward month after month. Vexthal looked exhausted. His gray skin had turned almost white from stress. The humans have evolved, Counselor. They are no longer the same species we invaded. Elaborate. They have learned to use our technology better than we do. Yesterday, a group of human teenagers disabled 3 of our heavy walkers using weapons built from kitchen appliances and our own power cells. A farmer named Wu Jin Song destroyed an entire convoy using a modified tractor and alien explosives. On Earth, in the underground networks beneath Taegu, Major In-soo Kim was coordinating what humans now called the Great Liberation. After months of scattered resistance, human forces were finally ready for coordinated planetary action. All cells report ready, said Lieutenant Eunbai Park, monitoring communications from resistance groups across 6 continents. We have simultaneous operations planned for every major alien installation. In-soo looked at the tactical display showing alien positions in red and human forces in blue. There were now more blue dots than red ones. Remember, this is not about destroying them. This is about showing them that we will never stop. The operations began at dawn. In Seoul, Captain Do-hyun Lee led a team that captured the alien communication center using nothing but determination and improvised weapons. In Busan, engineer Soo-jin Kang's technical team hijacked alien transport systems, causing chaos across their supply networks. But the most significant action happened in the ruins of Incheon, where Sergeant Jinwoo Park's cell had spent 6 months tunneling beneath the main alien command post. "Charges are set," reported Specialist Yina Choi. "We can bring down their entire headquarters." Jinwoo looked at his team of 15 fighters. They had started the war as ordinary people, a mechanic, a teacher, a student, a shop owner. Now they were conducting military operations that professional soldiers would have called impossible. "On my signal," he said quietly. The explosion that followed could be seen from orbit. The alien command center, supposedly impregnable, collapsed into rubble in less than 30 seconds. Aboard the flagship, Vexthal watched his tactical displays turn red as base after base reported attacks. His communication officer turned to him with panic in his voice. "Sir, they are hitting us everywhere at once. Over 200 simultaneous attacks across the planet. Casualties? Unknown but significant. More importantly, sir, they are not trying to kill us. They are trying to disable our equipment and capture our supplies." Vexthal understood immediately. The humans were not fighting a war of extermination. They were fighting a war of liberation. They wanted their planet back, but they did not want genocide. High Counselor Zepthor watched the reports with growing horror. "How many troops would we need to pacify this planet?" Based on current resistance growth patterns, Vexthal calculated, we would need to station our entire military here permanently. And even then, victory would not be guaranteed. This is one planet. We control half the galaxy. "Yes, Counselor. But word of human resistance has reached our other worlds. 3 of our colonies reported rebellions last month. Local species are copying human tactics." That was the moment Zepthor realized the true scope of the disaster. The humans had not just defended their world, they had created a virus of resistance that was spreading across Zephyrian space. In the bunker beneath Seoul, Colonel Minho Park received a message that changed everything. His communications officer, Sergeant Hyojin Lee, looked up from her radio with amazement. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the alien flagship. They want to negotiate." Minho had been fighting for 2 years. He had lost friends, family, and most of his world. But he had never lost hope. "Put them through." Vexthal's voice came through the speakers, translated into Korean. "Human Commander, we wish to discuss terms for withdrawal." "Withdrawal?" Minho replied. "You mean surrender?" "We mean departure. We will leave your world. All we ask is safe passage for our remaining forces." Minho looked around at his staff. Young faces that had aged years and months. Soldiers who had never given up even when victory seemed impossible. "All alien forces leave Earth immediately. All alien technology stays behind. All human prisoners released. No conditions." There was a long pause. Then, "Agreed." The withdrawal began the next morning. Massive alien ships lifted off from Earth's surface, carrying the remnants of what had once been an unstoppable invasion force. Humans emerged from underground bunkers and hidden shelters to watch their enemies disappear into space. Insu stood on a hilltop overlooking Seoul, watching the last alien transport fade into the sky. Beside him, Doohyun was holding a human flag that had been hidden for 2 years. "Did we win?" Doohyun asked. Insu smiled. Around them, other humans were climbing out of tunnels and ruins, blinking in sunlight they had not seen safely for months. Children who had grown up in underground shelters were laughing and running in open fields. "Look around," Insu said. "We are still here. We are still human. We never surrendered. That is victory." In deep space, Vexthal added a final entry to the Zephyrian species database: humans conquest inadvisable. Technological assessment irrelevant. Primary factor: unbreakable will. Note: this species becomes more dangerous when threatened. Recommend: avoid contact. On Earth, humans began the long work of rebuilding. They had kept something more precious than their cities or their technology. They had kept their freedom and their humanity.